his horses, they always get on two hind legs. And I've asked around LA here, and I go, do any of our horses do that? They're like, no, it's actually, something we don't do.
Welcome to another episode of Photographer Profile. My name is Nathan Rupert. And I started this channel to give photographers a worldwide platform to share their work and stories. My guest today is David. Hey, David, how are you doing?
How you doing? Doing pretty good.
Thanks for joining the podcast. Please just give an introduction of yourself to the audience, please. Thank you.
I'm David Cumatz. I'm a photographer. We photo and video in Southern California. 90% of our clients right now are quinceañeras, but we do that 10-15% of weddings. So
And are you a professional photographer? Is your main source of income?
yes, I made that leap. I want to say about 3 or 4 years where I quit my 9 to 5, and now this is it.
Congratulations. How is the pressure? Does it feel weird?
Initially, yes, right. As thought of losing your benefits and everything that regular 9 to 5 gives you a constant paycheck every 2 weeks, and the thought of now you're on your own and you got to take care of all that, buddy. That could be unnerving. It was weird the first few months, and honestly, I haven't looked back, man. I'm excited. I'm happy.
Well, congratulations. Not many photographers can claim that. It's very difficult to do. So kudos to
Thank
you
you. Thank you.
on
Thank
that, man. And what about, do you have any hobbies outside of photography that you enjoy?
I guess if having kids is a hobby, that is, technically, I wish I had more spare time to do things that I probably like really am passionate about. But actually, with the whole photography and editing, before I got into all that, I used to play instruments. Growing up in
Ah,
church, I helped with the guitar, and then little by little learned a little piano, little drums, and with that, the whole ability to connect a laptop and record a little bit what you can play has always fascinated me. By no means am I good. I just love that that whole side.
you don't make your own music background tracks to your
Not
slideshows or something like that?
Not yet, man. That has been a goal of mine where I want to go out and film something completely different from what I do, like the wedding or quinceañera world. Kind of film something dramatic and then slap a little bit of my own composition of music. That is the goal. But up to this point, thank God that I'm really, really blessed with clients that I don't have that ability to say, okay, I'm gonna take a few days off to do this. We're heading there eventually.
Well, if we do another episode in the future, I'll have you bring an instrument and play us a little
Oh,
something.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Well, let's not keep the people waiting here. Let's take a look at your picture showcase. I picked one of the photos that you sent me. Let me share my screen here real fast. This is a beautiful shot, stunning.
Thank you. Thank you. The reason that image is special is one, it's in New York, right? You could see the stunning background of the financial district of the Freedom Tower in the background. The second reason it's so special is this was a mini dream kind of come true. I've always gone to New York with the things I used to do, but it was always on someone else's dime and representing someone else's company. For the first time, I got to go to New York, and one, everything, all the financial side was on my dime, but I was able to have the freedom of where can I shoot, what can I do. I was able to showcase that, hey, I went to New York and I was able to do a photo shoot. And yes, the image is beautiful, but if you were to attach sentimental value, it's through the roof on that end.
What was the setup for this? Was this just natural light, or did you have off-camera flash? What was the
So,
setup
so we
here?
do have an assistant on the right hand side. If you're looking at the photo straight on, she's gonna be on the right hand side. And I say she because it was the makeup artist that said, I don't mind going with you guys. And I'm like, perfect, because I need somebody to hold my light. So she's like standing on the rocks. And that is a real sun, by the way. That's not a fake sun,
Oh,
that's a real
okay.
sun. The only thing that I guess if I could destroy a little bit of the magic of the photo, the clouds weren't necessarily there, but that is a real sun, and that is real Manhattan. I think that's the Brooklyn Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually,
How
that
did you get the rays to look like that? The
well,
rays
I, I,
to
I
show
did
like
that.
that?
I did that whole 200 rule where you put the shutter speed at 200, f whatever, right? I usually want to go into like an f16 or higher, and then ISO 200, and that's what gives you that almost like a sunburst, and you can see all the rays from the sun.
And this was a single exposure
Yes, no,
thing?
no, yeah, single exposure, I didn't want it too moody because I still wanted to showcase, the New York side in the background.
And is this like a standard pose that you have most of your models do with the head kind of tilted back like
Yes,
the
yes. My goal is not to be the very traditional where usually it's you look at the camera, you smile, and you hold the bouquet and take the photo. With the young ladies, we've been trying to create a sense of a little bit of difference where, hey, showcase your bouquet with this, but let's make sure that your arm is sticking out. Otherwise, they're going to think that you only have one arm. And then instead of looking at the camera, look down and just showcase a little bit of your face and more of your makeup, right? That's that pose. And if you kind of follow the Instagram, you'll see a little bit where we don't always look at the camera. We're always looking everywhere else but the camera, which is
right.
interesting.
I'm not expert on these. This is quinceañera dress,
Yes, yes, that
right?
is a quinceañera dress. Yes,
Does it have like something that keeps the form underneath it?
yes, a petticoat.
Okay.
And that's a good question because sometimes we get asked, is there a person under? Is there somebody like
As a
pushing it?
person
And
under the
and the answer is no and yes, right? I actually have some behind the scenes videos of previous events when it gets windy and doesn't matter how sturdy that petticoat, you're not gonna beat the wind and it's gonna like dip the petticoat and the dress in. In two occasions, we've had people go under and kind of like push it so the wind it's kind of wind resistant. I wish I would have had that video. I would show you. There's one
Oh my gosh.
maybe I'll post it tonight on my Instagram where the mom is actually underneath and then I tell her, okay, come on, mom, and then she like comes out of her daughter's legs, and she was the one pushing the dress, so the wind wouldn't mess with the roundness of the dress. The wind is hitting at her dress, and it's making it look not good. But mom's like, hold up, I got this. So check out what his mom's doing. All right, mom, you can come out now. So mom had to go in there, see how the wind's hitting it, but mom took care of business. This is what I love, right? Perfect.
Man, that how did you even fit in a car or a cab with that dress on?
I've seen it all. I saw a young lady. It wasn't my client, but I think the parents rented like a U-Haul minivan or like a van style. She was
Oh wow.
literally in the middle of the van, just like sitting down. Obviously, I don't advocate for that. I advocate for put the dress at the location because there is no way that you're gonna fit in a car without getting the petticoat all bent out of shape. I always advocate put the dress on location because otherwise that thing is gonna be all bent everywhere.
My God. Well, amazing job on the photo. I love the city backdrop. The clouds, even if they're not real, they still look good. You did a good
Yeah, thank you, thank
job
you.
on that.
Our goal is to always make it as real as possible, right? We just try to make it as realistic, even though yes, the clouds may not be real in this particular.
I want to see one of your packages where you can add like a flying dragon in the sky or something like that.
Listen,
That'd be pretty
I
cool.
mean, we have some talented editors. Yes, we can. I'm sure we can do all sorts of different tricks
That'd
in
be
the
sweet.
background.
All right, let's take a look at your next picture here. Give me one second. Very different vibe on this one
Oh yeah,
here.
yes. So if I can talk about this one really quick, why did it make the list? Well, this is one of those photos where we've changed our mindset of how we take photos. This is a really popular location, Pasadena City Hall. Like today, if you would have been there today, you would have seen at least 5 or 6 quinceañeras coming in and out, different
Wow.
photographers. So everyone shoots here. This is like a really popular place. Dealing with quinceañeras, sometimes you deal with, well, my cousin went there and, well, I don't want to go where cousin went, or my
True.
sister did it there, or my friend did it there. I want to go somewhere different, right? And one of the things that I've stressed end of last year, beginning of this year, is that effort and creativity, they're free. They cost you nothing. My goal was that let's get a photo that no one else has. It so happened that mom said, I want to bring a couch, I want to bring candles, I want to bring a candelabra. And I said, bring it, mom. And again, we're not technically in the road. We're like off to the side because the last thing I want to do is block road, have the cops show up,
Right.
or worst case scenario, have a crazy person run us over. We're literally off to the side, and what's behind me is my van, so there was no way anybody can like hit us because we're technically like in the parking side, beginning of the crosswalk. But it's all about angling, right? And when you angle it, I shoot more towards the middle of the city hall, and what you end up is with a photo like this, where you can look at different photos from Pasadena City Hall, But yes, we're the crazy people with the couch and candles and the candelabra in the middle of the road,
Oh my god.
just to try to be a little bit different. And again, stressing the whole creativity, effort, free, right? They cost you nothing. All it costs is for you to like really sit down and think about how can we make this different and creative.
Was there like a security guard or anything that said anything to you guys?
No, luckily there is a security guard that takes care of the city hall, but we're technically on public road now and we're on the crosswalk in front of it. We weren't really impeding anybody crossing. We did it so quick with the intent was get the photo, get the little bit of the footage, video footage, and then let's get out, right? Because we also don't want to be those people that block everything. It's all about us, right? We want to make sure we get in and get out.
Is black a unique color for this type of
I
shoot?
it's not as common. Yes, it's not as common. We do have a couple other black dresses that we've done. I think last year we did a black with white polka dots, or actually white with black polka dots. Not very common, but if you shoot it right, it's elegant, right? Especially you can see the sparkles in her in her dress with the lighting when it's hitting her.
The shot looks like something out of Game of Thrones. I love it. It's cool.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
She's like the evil queen
Yeah, but she's
waiting
smiling.
or something.
There's a few others where she's a little serious, and there's a little more where it's more like a spotlight on her. But at the end of the day, I think this photo tells the story of how crazy we can get. Right? We want to be creative and not do the same thing as what we did with the last client. That is a big thing for me.
Let me ask you a question before we look at your next couple
Sure.
photos here. What excites you to do this, to travel all over the country doing these photo shoots? What keeps you going with, you're a busy person?
I look at it as every time I go out and shoot something as a blank canvas, and here's the opportunity to do something completely different, even though we're doing the same genre of photography, right? Here's a chance to create dark and moody or bright and airy or just something artistic and be able to give that to the families. In my idea, I want all my photography to be a timeless classic. That is what really drives me because we want to do a good job. And aside from the fact that we are charging a client, right? I know that sometimes they feel that we charge like an arm and a leg or whatever it is. We always want to give them their money's worth because at the end of the day, this is a special day and we want them to remember something.
Do they fill out a form on what kind of theme they want, or you just have a conversation with them
We
usually?
believe in a lot of communication, right? We usually jump on a Zoom meeting 2 weeks before the event,
Okay.
the actual shoot, and talk about everything of what I've done, show examples, come up with a plan A, plan B, and in some cases plan C, right? Especially when we're around this time of weather, right, where it could rain. We when we planned it, we thought it was going to be a sunny, regular California day, and it turns out it's one of the rare days that it rains. We got to have a plan B in what we would do, or if we have to reschedule.
Okay. Let's look at some more pictures here. We got plenty, so I don't want to
All right.
waste time. Let me get the next one. Little
All
country here.
I love this one. I love this one. I got to travel to Dallas, Texas. Funny enough, I was actually there doing a workshop. I wasn't teaching or anything like that. I believe in getting as much education as you can. So I made that trip worth it by doing a photo shoot with a real quinceañera with the horse on its two hind legs. There's a few talented photographers out in Dallas that I met, and one of them, literally, he's known as the guy that does the horses, and his horses they always get on two hind legs. And I asked around LA here, and I go, do any of our horses do that? They're like, no, it's actually something we don't do. So I
Oh.
just happened to be in Dallas with the real quinceañera, and the stars got aligned, and I was like, awesome, let's do this. And we were to get a horse that actually gets on its two legs, and we got that shot. And I should have put the image of me. I actually got on the horse too and got on its hind legs because why not, right? I've never done that.
Yeah.
So I've actually never ridden a horse. I love horses, but I've never ridden a horse. And so doing that was just interesting from my perspective.
This looks like a fantasy horse, something out of a movie or fairy tale. It looks
Yeah,
so much
right.
bigger
Yeah.
than her, right?
It is kind of scary, man. Once you get on that horse and you realize how tall the horse is, and this is 1,500, sometimes 2,000 pounds of animal, and it gets on its two legs, and you're like, oh god, right? Am I gonna slip off? How do you feel? Like, let's go. Let's take me to my ranch, girl. It wasn't until I got on top of the horse at the end that I looked at her and go, I get it. I get it. I know why you were shy. I know why you were nervous. It's not as easy as one thinks, right? Especially if you don't ride horses like that every day.
She looks pretty calm to me in the photo,
Yes,
at
but
least.
this was like try number 5 or 10 out of the many we did, because yeah, anyone's natural reaction when you see the horse go up and your body tries to go back is to go forward and hold on. So she wasn't sometimes keeping the body form of like very princess like and very
Hmm.
poised. We had to, I'm sorry, can we do that again? Do that again. And that got her a little nervous. It wasn't until I got on top of it that I literally turned around and I said, I get you. I'm not judging you anymore, because I was scared too, right?
Put some black wings on the horse, make it a
Yeah, right.
Pegasus. That'd be pretty. That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
make it kind of like the Marvel movie of the God of Thunder, but then the second movie, I think she has the unicorn horse and she's flying around in them. Yeah, that'd be kind of
That'd be
cool.
awesome. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Love and basketball, or fantasy and basketball.
Yeah, right. Again, every image that I picked for this whole thing has a story. This is one of those when we started doing this dramatic edits. When I shot this, the goal was to start being dark and moody, and really capture the attention of the viewer. This was one of the first images where I was like, bring the basketball, bring the volleyball. Let me try to be, dark and moody and see what we come up with. And every time I
Oh,
take it to the expos, or anytime I take it out to show clients, I still get that wow factor. They still go, oh wow, right? And funny enough, this and the New York image are the ones that are pinned on my Instagram profile, because to me it's like a wow. It's like, oof, that sunset, the house, her holding the ball. There's a lot to unpack, right? It just grabs your attention. The fact that she's wearing a red dress, I'm a big believer that red just stands out. Red will capture your attention.
do most girls for these photo shoots incorporate their hobbies? I assume she's a basketball player for her school, or
Yes, one of the things that we're doing now is we're really going after their personality. If she was the swimmer, how do we showcase that other than the goggles and like the little hat they put on? If it's something like basketball, volleyball, soccer, you can incorporate that. I mean, why not go the extra mile and do something different?
was this like a custom texture to get that kind of look in the
Yes. So
background?
everything in this photo is in camera taken, except for, again, and I hate to kill a little bit of the magic, but the clouds were not the clouds were not like that day. The sun doesn't set in that side of the horizon. It's actually in on the right hand side of her. So to kill a little bit of the magic, the sun doesn't really set there. But when we added that, it really gave it that look, right? There's something about it. This is again why it's pinned on my Instagram, right? Because it's still a wow factor for us.
Is this a famous house or famous location
Well,
that
it
this was
is.
shot
I
at?
want to say is a place that a lot of young ladies love to go and take photos. It's like a Victorian house. It was founded back in like the 1800s. This is one of those things where you get as close as you can to that princess vibe or look that a lot of the young ladies go. A lot of the young ladies do have a theme, whether it be enchanted forest or a princess theme, or pick the different Disney princesses that we have.
Do you want to keep this location secret, or are you okay
No,
revealing
no, no. This
where
is in
this is?
Redlands. I wish it was a secret, man. Everybody, again, this place is well known, and on any given day, what I do love is because it is a private permit location only, meaning you go by time slots. It's not like anybody's gonna walk into your shot that shouldn't be there.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of quinceañeras. You drive there, and literally one's coming down while the other one's going up, and another one's already getting ready. Take your turns of the slots is how it goes.
What is it? What is it called? The
It's called
place?
Kimberly
Sorry.
Crest in Redlands.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Beautiful photo. Yeah. Beautiful photo.
Okay, let's do the next one. This is very majestic, this shot.
Okay. So, full disclosure, I didn't take that photo. It made it in because that's me and my wife last year for our wedding that we never had slash 10-year anniversary. We had a full on wedding in July, but because again, I'm blessed and I was busy every weekend after that until I think it was August, we were able to take like a mini family vacation in San Diego. Then we finished the vacation by driving to San Francisco City Hall and taking one of my photographers and getting that shot of my wife and I. And obviously I have kids, so we had the full on family photo. And but that photo means a lot, right?
Well, the photographer took your style. It looks like one of your shots with
Right.
the
So
great background and everything.
yeah, he shot it, and then we edited within our studio as well.
Did he have he or she have an assistant that threw the veil up, or how did you get the veil going
His
up
assistant
like
was his
that?
wife. So
Okay.
yeah, I wanted it to be personal in the sense where I was like, look, I don't want to take time off from your day and just have you drive up there by yourself. I'll pay a couple of nights of the hotel. Bring your wife, bring your kids. So have your kids, have your wife, and all I need is a few hours of photo shoot, and then just like me, go out and explore because I have little kids. I was like, go out and have a good time. And he did that, and his wife was the one that did us the favor of throwing the veil and he captured a photo. I think the original has his wife by the lamppost where we would have photoshopped that off.
So Photoshop is for those
Yeah,
moments,
exactly,
those
right?
moments. Okay, let me get your next one here. Another dark,
Yes,
moody one.
yes. She's a painter, and the first thing that came to mind was let's do a little bit of Rembrandt lighting on her, right? That whole mysterious of lighting coming from one end, creating that triangle, like kiss of light, all while she's doing something she loves, which is painting. I like to think that she's lost in her art form of being a painter, all while being still a quinceañera, telling the audience that she's a 14-year-old girl becoming 15, doing what she loves. And I love that the expression that she gave us in that photo as well.
Those real diamonds? No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, I wish, right? I'm sure she would be doing well for herself.
Hey, I'm sure some families have some family jewels passed on from
Oh, I
generation to
mean,
generation.
yes, we do have some quinceañeras that are walking around with very expensive jewelry. And I'm not gonna say who or where. We don't want anything to happen to them, but yeah, though sometimes they do have some very expensive jewelry and or very expensive gowns. I mean, these things can get very pricey, especially if you're talking about custom made or a specific designer. They get up there in price and weight. I've seen some way up to like 50 pounds, like
Oh,
a lot of weight
wow.
to carry around. Yes.
They rent them or they actually buy them, the
They
custom
buy them,
ones?
man.
They buy them.
Yes,
Wow.
I always say the DJ's gonna go home, the caterer goes home, the cake gets either eaten or it goes thrown away. The food goes bad after a few days. I go, you're only gonna be left with the quinceañera dress, and that goes in the closet. I go that goes into the museum of your closet, right? And all ladies know which you know what I'm talking about, right? You're gonna have either a prom dress, the quince dress. You're gonna have your communion dress if you're Catholic, your graduation gown, and one day you'll have a wedding dress, and it's all lined up right there, right? That's where the quince dress goes. But your photos, where are they gonna be, right? They're gonna be displayed in the living room and kind of showing it off to the whole world of what you did and how elaborate the gown was. So yeah, a lot of the ladies do keep and buy those dresses and keep them.
Do you do communion photo shoots too? Any of the
Honestly,
events?
not no. I keep it only to quinceañera, wedding, and some maternity. Other than that, I try to keep it only to that and a few people that will call me up and say, can we do our annual family Christmas photos, things like that. My bread and butter would be quinces and weddings.
Yeah, stick to what you're good
Yes,
at, and
yes,
then if
yes.
you get bored, maybe you can expand
Oh,
to
I
something later.
what I do to not get bored is I'll do a project every 3 months. I'll go out and do something completely different, not associated with weddings or quinceañeras, only to break the routine, the monotone, and expand my brain in creating something that has nothing to do with events and to keep me going so I don't go crazy doing the same thing over and over, right?
Yeah. I have another fun question for you
Awesome.
here before you look at your next photo. I know you're loving these. What if you could do a portrait session with any celebrity or famous person, live or dead? who would you pick to do a portrait session or photo session
That's a
with?
hard one, man. You're talking to someone that loves history. I love history. At one point, I wanted to be a history major because I wanted to either teach or do some type of archaeology. So I guess because of my background and how I was raised, it's gonna be like biblical figured, right? I don't know how many I've ever answered, but imagine if you're a believer in Christianity, would you pass up the ability to take a photo or do a portrait of like Jesus? Like I guess that would be my number one, to be able to take a photo of him. That would be that would be interesting. I don't know. I'd be too nervous. I don't know how that photo would come out, to be honest.
You could do some Photoshop of him raising from the dead or
Yeah,
something
right.
like
I mean,
that
let's
too.
do a composite of him performing of one of the many miracles that the Bible states. I don't like getting political, and I don't like getting religious. But when you pose a question like that, I would pick someone like Jesus. If I had the opportunity to take a photo of him in a heartbeat, how good of a photo would be? I don't know. I guess I would be way too nervous to be even thinking about it, right?
Well, that's one photo shoot I don't think I'm gonna be able to help you with
Right.
by posting this on Instagram or anything like that.
Yeah, right. That's a good way to get canceled nowadays. I get it, man. I get it. I mean, at the end of the day, I always say to each their own, right? I would never impose anything on anybody.
All right, well, let's look at some more pictures here. A lot of energy in this shot here.
This is actually like a 4-year-old photo. It was right when I started quitting my job and really going full time. The client originally was going to hire me for the day of the whole package. And the day we were ready to sign, she kind of ghosted me, man. I was ready. I remember like, oh, we're going to meet so and so and we're going to sign the contract. Called her to confirm, never got an answer. The day came, the hour came, and I was like, I guess I got ghosted, right? And I was like, it's okay. So a few months later in the year, I get a call. She goes, hi, do you remember me? And then the whole short story, someone else got him a photographer and they paid for it. She didn't have the heart to tell me, sorry, we don't need you, right? And what ended up happening was that when she got her photos, she looked at every photo and she goes, David, I'm crying. Not
Oh
one
wow.
photo is good. And I'm so upset. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to send images to my family in our country, and I can't because I don't think any of these photos are decent. And short story is, can you do a session with me? 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever it takes. So we did 2 hours at Pasadena City Hall. I charge you a decent price. And I did in 2 hours what unfortunately the other photographer wasn't able to do. This reminds me, man, always be on your toes, create something, go over and beyond so the client never has to look for anyone else, right? This image alone, in my opinion, would make it worth the whole 2 hours that they did, right? And whatever I charged them.
You need to add a ghosting fee to your services contract.
I should, right? I should.
$500 ghosting fee. Then
Yeah,
you
right.
won't get ghosted anymore.
I instead of getting upset, I took it as a challenge. So this was like 4 years ago when I changed even the style of lighting of the very dark and moody. I was still doing a little bit of the bright and airy, but there's still something in that story that you see, right? Even though it's everything's bright and airy, you still see a little bit of emotion and passion, especially because it's a wedding and the veil flowing and the way he holds her and the way he's looking at her. I'm taking it and I'm like, oh my God, this is gold. I love it, right? And I still remember having those feelings as I was taking those photos.
Yeah, I think the bright and airy fits the trees and the flowers, like love's in the air, everybody's
Right,
happy.
right, right. I mean, I did do a little bit moody afterwards when it comes to love. Most movies that are done with love and the famous chick flicks, right? They're done with the bright and airy, and even the music is soft and bubbly. Can you imagine doing a love movie with like the Batman feel of lighting, or the V for Vendetta, very film noir? I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna sell as much as it would as a bright and airy film.
That is very true. All right, one more quick question
Sure.
for you. Do you have a dream shot in your mind, a dream location or dream pose that you're like, I want to get this type of photo someday? Your kind of dream shot that you have, you'd love to get.
My goal is to go to different iconic places. One of the goals would be Europe, whether it be the very obvious Paris and the Eiffel Tower, even Italy, Venice, Spain, Barcelona. I mean, Europe is so full of history, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I love history, right? And seeing some of
Yeah.
these cathedrals or really old buildings with a lot of characters, and being able to put a person, whether it be a quinceañera or a bride with the flowy veil, to me is like a chef's kiss on anything I would do at that point. That is the goal, to be able to go around iconic places.
And you haven't done any international yet?
No, not at this point. I have not yet.
Not even Tijuana? No, I was
Not
kidding.
even Tijuana, man. I've been, like I said, even if I go to Mexico this year, that is the goal. Even funny enough, I'm not Mexican. I'm actually Central American, but I
Oh,
love
okay.
Mexican, their capital, what they call the Distrito Federal de EF. They have that very iconic cathedral from the Catholic side. I'm not Catholic, but I love the whole architecture, and I already know what I can kind of create there. So yes, I'm excited to at least go to Mexico and get the title of international as long as I go there for now, and then head over overseas.
Do you speak fluent
Oh
Spanish?
yes,
Espanol?
yes, yes. I
Okay.
can I can read, I can write it, and I can speak it. Correct. Sometimes my Spanish is not proper. It can be full of slang, and in my mind, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds proper, right? But it may not be.
I'm sure you'll get there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you're on your way.
That is the goal, man. Thank you. That is the goal.
Let's bring up the next photo here. This reminds me of like Harry Potter staircase or something.
Yes, full of drama, man. So that photo is because we did a photo walk, or I organized a photo walk. I opened it up to Instagram, and all the photographers that follow me. We had a local dress shop in Anaheim called Moda 2000. Let us borrow that quinceañera dress. I did do this actual photo. I actually shot it, but the whole point was I was showing the other two or three photographers around me how I position her, where I put my light, and what the goal of this photo is. It is a very beautiful photo. It represents me touching a little bit of what I would love to do, which is teach, help others in creating something that doesn't have to be a carbon copy of what I do, but something similar, or be able to show them how I do it and let them run wild with their creativity and do something different from what I'm used to.
Where was this location at? The
This is
stairwell? It looks
this is
pretty.
Pasadena City Hall as well.
Oh, okay.
This location has a
Cool.
lot of places where you use your head correctly, man. You will get some what we call bangers. You're gonna get some really good photos.
And have you seen those clone shots where you make copies of yourself in different poses?
Yes, yes. I do need a tripod, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, right? She's walking photo, and then she's going again photo, and then bringing it to Photoshop, layering it, and then bringing in each version of them as
Yeah.
she's going up to the top. You just gave me a good idea, bro. Thank you, thank you. I've been wanting to do that, but I always forget the tripod because again, I'm so used to not using a tripod. I'll have that photo, man. I'll tag you on it. I'll be like, "Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for reminding me to do something different."
I want some commission if you could make some money on that.
All right, we'll see what we can do. Well,
All
could
right.
I do like every other influencer does? We'll pay you in exposure. Money is what makes the world go round, not exposure to other.
Tell them they have to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
There you go.
Then I'll be happy.
That's a good one right there.
All right. I have another thinker question for
Okay.
you since I know you're a thinking man. And what do you see as the future of photography 10, 20, 30 years? Will it exist in the form it is now? Will cameras exist? What do you think about the future of photography
That
here?
is that is something that I have thought in the past year and a half. The future of photography may not be a person in itself. I'm thinking there may be like an R2D2 or a CP3 walking around, i.e. the Tesla robot going around and taking the photo, man, and then having that photo and running it through some type of app that'll give you that really dramatic edit, right? And I may be wrong, but it can't really duplicate emotion, right? And there's this saying, there's the photos that can be reproduced, reposed, and there's the photos of once in a lifetime. I always think about the family member that does something that they're not used to, right? Maybe dad doesn't really like hugging or kissing anyone other than his wife, right? Even his kids. He's not really a touchy feely. And on the day of the quinceañera or the on the wedding day, he hugs his daughter and gives her a kiss in the cheek. That's once in a lifetime. And even if you tell him, oh no, do it again, it's not the same expression as when they did it for the first time, right? Or a single moment of somebody shedding a tear and the emotion by it. And that is something that I've been trying to teach myself to be almost like a photojournalistic photographer that captures the essence of the moment rather than the pose moment, because we can always recreate that moment, but the once in a lifetime, I don't think AI is ready for that. At least not now, and I hope it won't be, because then that would take the whole human emotion out of the equation of why we exist, right? But that's a whole philosophical thing. I don't want to go down that route. But
Yeah. AI can't take on the motion. It can't take on getting 5 fingers in the photo. Have you seen those finger
yes,
pictures
yes, I
from
see those
AI?
where the photo looks good, but as you zoom in, their foreheads are weird. The people are blended in. It's no longer even a human. It's like two people joined. I've seen all sorts of AI compose photos. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
there yet, but it's scary that how fast it's growing and how fast it's going to
Right.
get accurate and better.
All right, let's take a look at your last photo here. We've been here for a while. This looks out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, this is, I would say, closer to you. It's in Temecula. I forget what casino is out there in Temecula. It was at a bridge, and funny enough, in the backside is just golf courses, and in front of her is the casino. So although it looks in the middle of nowhere, it's literally in the heart of gambling and being able to have a good time no matter how you slice it, right? With the golf and the gambling. I love that photo because it's dramatic, but it's literally all natural light. Use the lighting you have,
Mhm.
whether that be the sun, direct incandescent lighting, fluorescent, whatever lighting that you may have, right? In this case, I love how that sun is literally just throwing all the light at them. All I did was kind of bring down my exposure so they're a little underexposed, because even then you can still see they're a little hot around the white area. It's, that's usually the brightest part. That's going to be a little burned, but it was good enough for me to be like, man, that was a quick photo, and I didn't have to set up lighting, and I think we got a little emotion out of that.
Yeah, and he's telling her, "I'm gonna buy that plot of land for a house, babe,
Yeah.
right over there."
Funny enough, that's usually what we tell them, right? When you look out into the distance, like I usually use a very cheesy, maybe cliche lines. You tell her about what you're looking into, right? What the future is gonna look like. And when I really want to get them going, is like, tell her how many purses you're gonna buy her, and it usually gets her smiling or that kind of feeling going. But yeah, I love the feeling of this photo.
One final question for you. Any wild or crazy stuff happen on any of your photo shoots or with any of the couples? Any
Um,
crazy weather or crazy interference from passerbys? Anything like that you can think of that's happened to you?
well, unfortunately, there's some situations where we go and maybe the area is not that good. So we have to kind of be like, you have my bag, I have your bag. If somebody gets close to you, use the tripod. And I don't care what trouble we get in, no one's going to come near you, right? A little bit of that. On event day, a while back, one of our quinceañeras got a little nervous. And,
Mhm.
well, let's just say during the mass, she just had to, let it
She
out.
threw up.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I can falter. Sometimes you get nervous. Sometimes you eat too much. And sometimes these churches are hot. They don't put the AC, or they're so old they don't have AC. We've had girls that almost faint because it's a hot day. Remember, we shoot all times of the year.
Yeah.
It makes for a perfect, a perfect storm of different situations, right? We've had some of those experience. The hangry side, right, where I don't care what you do, you just got to give them a break, man. You got to give them a soda, got to give them water, got to give them some type of sugar, let them get their energy back. And then in some locations, well, you just got to be careful, man. So your camera bag doesn't disappear, or the people around you, they may not hurt you because they may not be in all five senses. That's rarely the case. A lot of the permit areas safe, clean, nobody walks in your shot. So a little bit of everything, man. Once you start doing this for a few years, you get a little bit of everything as far as an experience.
Yeah, maybe take some jujitsu classes or carry some pepper spray on you or
I mean, I
something like
always
that.
say just use the tripod, man. It's the fastest thing. I mean, the light stand, I go, it's the fastest thing. Flip it around, and there you go. You got a nice long weapon that can cause a little bit of damage. We've been blessed that we've never had to use anything like that, but just we're always very cautious about our surroundings.
Did you catch her throwing up on camera? That'd be
No,
a funny photo there.
and all that. And I'm also very sensitive, so I had to turn away because the last thing you want is, did you see the photographer was also puking on the side because he's very sensitive. So no, I had to turn away as well. And I don't know if I should have said that, but I apologize if you're hearing me. No names, girl, no names. I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying who it was, but it happens. It happens.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. How do you prefer people contact you? Instagram, your website? How do you prefer people
Instagram
contact
and
you?
website are ideal. The website is in the Instagram information. However you want to contact me, I'm always happy to do so. Whether it be a message on Instagram, an email form through the website, or if you get my number, you're welcome to call me. I have no problem with that either.
Well, like I said, let me know when you're here in San Diego. Maybe I can, if I have a chance, come see you in person.
Oh, I
That'd be
appreciate it. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that would be cool, man. I had a good time.
Well, thank you so much. Please stick around here just for a minute so I
Sure,
can make
sure.
sure that everything's uploaded
All right.
online. But thank you so much, and I appreciate you having you on.
Yeah, man.